So, hello, we're back. Unfortunately, our friends from Soul Saga couldn't make it. Mike had a medical problem. We wish him all the best from here. So we had to come up with something in replacement. We weren't really finished with Alasdair when we were talking about Nelly Cootalot. And I know he has much more to say. But since we had problems with the line, we decided to try audio only. So we will have the joy of just seeing me. Alasdair, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's perfect. So I have a picture here. Maybe you can see this full screen.
Yes, I can.
So I've seen that in your video. I was just interested to hear your story around that. Is that how you see yourself?
in the center of a Venn diagram. Well, yeah, I think Venn diagrams are the diagram that I identify with most closely. They're the nerd's diagram of choice, I would say. Wouldn't you agree? Bar charts and pie charts are okay, but a Venn diagram is what you turn to when you really want to express the similarity between two overlapping groups.
Yeah, the thing that's disturbing here is this would suggest you're not living with a woman, but you do.
Yes, well, obviously, because I spend a lot of time on the internet, to keep up appearances, I have to pretend to not have a girlfriend. But in actual fact, I do have a long-term girlfriend, so I have to pretend to be a sort of nerdy loser, when really I'm an extremely cool and sort of lovable, popular guy.
I thought so when I saw your video. But you don't play women in World of Warcraft, do you?
No, I don't even play World of Warcraft. See, I told you I'm not a proper geek. I'm just pretending. No, I am, but okay. I don't play World of Warcraft.
Okay, I think we can get rid of this image now because everybody understood it. So where was I? Okay, so we had some interesting questions coming in from the live chat. Question number one: are your forefathers pirates?
Well, I don't know. I would love to say that I come from a distinguished pirate dynasty. What I can tell you, actually, I don't know if I can tell you this, what I'm going to tell you is that the campaign manager, Sarah, her ancestors are smugglers, which is basically the same as pirates. And I hope that isn't a secret. So if not, don't tell anyone. If it is a secret, just pretend I didn't tell you. So we've almost got genuine pirate blood in the making of the game.
Yeah, so I think that it's probably not going to be prosecuted anymore if it's 200 years ago.
No, exactly. They probably drunk all of the alcohol that was smuggled by now.
Yeah, hopefully. Will go bad otherwise. So the other question we got is, are there still pirate hairdressers exist today?
Now, I think that may be a joke at the expense of my hair, and I think that is very childish. So I disapprove of whoever said that. Because
yeah, you know, it's the internet.
If a man can't walk around with ridiculous hair without being mocked on the internet, what's the world coming to?
I don't know. I mean, when I started doing this email stuff, when you were like 2 years old or so, sorry about that. That was not about your hair, though. When I started, there was something called the netiquette, you know, and if someone broke it, people would tell him, you know, you would start a flame war against that person. Today, that would be a shitstorm. But they would learn that they're actually communicating with real human beings. So jokes about hair wouldn't go very far, you know.
Well, I don't think we need to actually start a flame war on the person who asked about hairdressers. Because no, I have got quite silly hair, and I'm quite happy for people to poke fun at it.
Yeah,
and I poke fun at it.
Hey, let's just move on. So, is Nelly related to Guybrush Threepwood in any way?
Well, I suppose, strictly speaking, she is, because Monkey Island was the first adventure game I ever played, as I think I might have said, on the Commodore 64 at my friend's house, when I would have been 12 or 13 or something. And so while the game is not full of references to Monkey Island or anything like that, it is obviously inspired by and indebted to the Monkey Island games. So in that respect, she's a sort of a lovable and relatively peace-loving pirate, very much in the Guybrush Threepwood frame. But she's got a different colour hair and she's a girl, so completely, it's not plagiarism.
Yeah, I can see that. You're safe there.
Yeah.
So what is the main improvement compared to Spoonbeaks Ahoy? So we have to say that that's the previous game you did, and it was a freeware game, right?
That's right. There's a freeware game still available. In fact, you can find it on the Kickstarter page, which is a sort of a reasonable sized but not huge adventure game in which Nelly rescues some spoonbeaks, which are an unusually shaped bird. And this game, there's a little more detail in the graphics. Well, actually, there's quite a lot more detail in the graphics, and a lot more time has gone into them. The original graphics are, I still like them quite a lot, but they're in a deliberately sketchy style. And these ones they're more polished, and so there's a lot more to sort of explore visually. But the biggest difference will be in the sort of the scale of the game, because the game is already, in the build that I have now, the game is already much longer than the original game, and we've still got a lot left to do, and hence the Kickstarter. So while the first game, depending on how fast you play it, would keep you entertained for a few hours, there'll be I think I've forgotten how many places there are to explore. There's sort of five different islands to explore, and there'll be 3 acts.
Okay.
People and have much more of an adventure. Have you lost me, or are you interrupting to tell me that you can't hear me?
Yeah, there was a bit of a dropout, but I think we get your message.
Okay, so I was rambling on anyway.
It's much better than the previous game, obviously. The guy who asked about the hair says the hair is awesome.
Okay, well, in that case, I good. He's correct. It is awesome.
So he was scared by me mentioning a flame war, I guess.
No, there'll be no flame wars.
And as we know from Skype usage, there's no such thing as an anonymous internet. Forget that.
Yep.
At least the NSA knows who you are. Oh God, we are. Oh, I forgot. We are on Skype. The amount for that campaign and the fact that the previous game was freeware doesn't suggest you're living on making games. So is that a side project of yours? And what else do you do? Well,
up until the middle of last year, I was at film school. So I moved to London to go to London Film School. I graduated in the middle of last year, and at the moment, the work I do for money is a mixture of sort of film and video-based work, and some animation, doing a variety of things. Not all of it particularly exciting, some of it quite interesting, doing visual effects for short films and viral videos, that kind of thing. But the reason I'm crowdfunding this game is not in order to become incredibly rich and walk around in gold shoes or anything like that. I just realized that if I didn't have a little bit of capital behind the game, I wouldn't be able to do the things I wanted to do, like, first of all, finish it, but also go for voice acting and a full soundtrack and that sort of thing. And so, yes, the plan is not for me to live off this money. The plan is for me to just use it to make the game achievable, really, because that's what I wanted to do, was make a game, really.
Yeah, I see that, but we have to talk about something. German, French, and Spanish are stretch goals. I would call them a necessity, but I understand the challenge. And I understand really well, because in our project GhostControl, I'm the one to come up with the jokes, and I do that in German, and some poor fellow has to translate those. And the main challenge, of course, is that everybody knows Germans have no sense of humor. So what is there to translate to begin with? But anyway, it's kind of tough to come up with translations. I mean, it also is the other way around. You know, we decided that if there's some danger for the ghost hunters and they have to escape, they need something. And we decided there should be something like a smoke ball that they can throw so that they're invisible for the ghosts. But that device must have a name. And I need your opinion on that. If that device is called Fog Me, is that too offensive?
Fog Me? No, I think that's fine. I think an English audience at least won't object to that. I think Americans are a little bit more sensitive about swearing.
Yeah, well, we had the Texan version, which would be, well, we could have done Fog You. I think that's more offensive.
Yes,
and
definitely.
the Texan version would be Fog You and the horse you rode in on.
Well, then you can sort of have localization, can't you, for different regions? So people can choose their own profanity based on, or semi-profanity based on where they live.
Yeah, I think that the good thing is that I'm writing nonsense stories that are irrelevant for the rest of the game. So the translation could be anything. You were asking fans to contribute to the translation. Do you think they can do that?
Well, actually, I haven't expressly asked fans to contribute to the translation of this game, although lots of people have offered.
Okay.
Oh, and as just a note, I can see the graphic at the bottom of the screen. Nelly is spelt with a Y rather than an I, but I understand why the German would spell it with an I at the end, because that would read better.
Well,
Sorry.
I didn't. My interview notes say Nelly with an I.
Oh, there we go. It just came back corrected. Brilliant.
Yeah. So we're quick here.
Thank you. Well, that was incredibly fast. So, the first thing I have to say is that Germans do have good sense of humour. I've never met a German with a bad sense of humour, so that stereotype is completely wrong. But you're absolutely right.
As most stereotypes are.
Yes. Well, I think quite a lot of them are sort of true, but that one's definitely wrong. You're right. You're absolutely right. The stereotypes are a terrible thing, and Germans have excellent senses of humour, and very similar to the British sense of humour.
And we know no boundaries. That's the problem.
What's that?
We know no boundaries. That's the problem.
But yeah, translation is extremely important. The reason why it's quite a pricey stretch goal, and so we'd have to do incredibly well in the next week to hit it. I wouldn't rule that out though, because miracles happen. Well, people are very generous, so fingers crossed. But it would be a mistake for me to rely on sort of crowdsourcing the translation, I think. While I'm completely happy to accept sort of donated or contributed elements of translation, I've learned a lot of things through translating the first game, which has been translated into French and Spanish at the moment, Castilian Spanish.
Yes, absolutely.
The French translation of the first game was finished last year, I think. Now, the game came out in 2007, so it's taken a long time to get to a French translation. Of course, we weren't translating it into French for that whole time, but because it depends on people working voluntarily, it takes a little bit of time. But the real issue, as you rightly say, is the game hinges on humour, and it hinges on wordplay, and there are puzzles based on riddles and a knowledge of English phrases, which if translated literally, not only don't make any sense, but actually make the game impossible to finish. And so the person who translates it has to be a writer as well, because they have to find, well, this is a reference to a song that French people won't know or Germans won't know. So what can I replace that with that's going to have the same feel?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
and that isn't a quick and that isn't an easy process. So I didn't want to underprice that. However, if we don't make that stretch goal, I certainly wouldn't rule out people saying, if people want to translate the game, then that's certainly open. It's just I'm aware of how much work it means. Okay.
Alasdair, it's been a pleasure again, and I think we're still not finished, but we have the next...
I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Goodbye.
No, it's great. It's great stuff. And it's fun talking to you. We'll find another opportunity, and I have to bring David on for his project, H-Hour. It's also quite interesting and quite different to what you do.
I'm sure
Thank you very much for helping out, Alasdair.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.